Hare Krishna. So today is the last day of the seminar, and so we have to cover Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Actually, we have yesterday, because it was Srila Prabhupada's Viraha Mahotsav, we had the class on Srila Prabhupada's pastimes. So today we'll try to cover the rest of Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Where did we come to yesterday? From Brahmaloka he came to Bhauma Vrindavan. So Gopkumar came to Vrindavan, where he was born. He was born in Govardhan. He spent his childhood there. And while coming after Brahmaloka, so many kalpas, so many millions of years went by. So what millions? So many millions of kalpas went by. And one day of Brahma has 1,000 Chaturjugas in a day of Brahma. So if it's a month, then if it's a year, so you can well imagine what a great duration of time. Like one day of Brahma is 4.32 billion years. So many kalpas went by. That means so many times the universe has been destroyed and created. Not the universe has been destroyed and created, but different planetary systems in the universe has been destroyed and created. So the shape of the universe, the planets, different planets, especially Earth planet, changed completely. Gopkumar saw that the Earth looked completely different. But when he came to Vrindavan, then he found Vrindavan was exactly the same. Vrindavan didn't change at all. Vrindavan looked exactly the same way. And he saw the beauty of Mathura. The beauty of Mathura is far exceeding the beauty of heavenly planet and other higher planetary systems where he spent so much time. All those planets are beautiful, but compared to Mathura, they were totally insignificant. Then he received instructions from the Mathura Brahmins and about the glory of devotion. There are different types of spiritual activities. The initial concept of spiritual activity is dharma, artha, kam and moksha. Dharma is performing spiritual, religious activities. And why one should be religious in their activities? Because by performing religious activities, they acquire piety. And as a result of their piety, they derive the benefit of enjoying this world. So as a result of their pious activities, they enjoy. And dharma, artha, kam, and then finally they want liberation. And that is the general consideration of spiritual activity. But beyond liberation is devotion to the Lord. And that devotional service actually brings the real happiness that everyone is hankering for. So Mathur Brahmans instructed him about that. And then Gopkumar saw his spiritual master and received instructions on devotion from him. the glory. Previous time what happened, do you remember? Gopkumar is meeting his spiritual master again and again. First time Gopkumar met his spiritual master. Where did he meet his spiritual master? In Govardhan. And the spiritual master gave him mantra. But by giving the mantra, while he was instructing him on the mantra, he fainted. And then he went away. So he got the mantra, but he did not get the instructions on the mantra. He got Diksha, but he did not really get Shiksha from his Guru. But with respect and faith, he kept on chanting the mantra. And as a result of chanting the mantra, he was gradually elevated from higher to higher planets. He became the king first, then he became the king of Lord Jagannath, king of Jagannath Puri, then he became the king of Indra, then he went to higher planetary systems from Sargaloka to Maharloka, then from Maharloka, sometimes he used to go to Janaloka, that is only when there was some disturbance in Maharloka, but then finally he went to Tapaloka and finally he went to Satyaloka. And in Satyaloka he became Brahma. All this is due to the chanting of the mantra that he received from his Guru. And then he came back to the material nature. Then again he met, in Jagannath Puri, he met his spiritual master. He got the darshan of his spiritual master again. But then he met his spiritual master in Satyaloka also. Then he met his spiritual master in higher region, Vaikuntha. Then by practicing, then his spiritual master instructed him that by chanting the mantra and doing Sankirtan, he will receive prem as a reward for bhakti. And in Vrindavan, he started to perform Sankirtan. And then while sometimes he would chant the Kirtan in Vrindavan, one day he saw Krishna. And seeing Krishna, he fainted. Gopkumar fainted. Then he saw some Vaikuntha, when he came back to his senses, some Vaikuntha Vasis came and some residents of Vaikuntha came and brought him back to his senses. So then they took Gopkumar to Vaikuntha Loka. And so when they came to Vaikuntha, while they were going to Vaikuntha, they told Gopkumar that Gopkumar, you can now that you are coming to Vaikuntha, you can assume the Vaikuntha way, Vaikuntha dress, Vaikuntha appearance. Like you give up your human form, and you assume your forearm form. Now, but Gopkumar was not interested to change his form. Why? Because Gopkumar's original attachment was to Krishna. But at the same time, the other consideration is that in order to go to Vaikuntha, one has to assume the forearm form. But because Gopkumar was born in Govardhan, he had a special relationship with Krishna. That is, he was related to Krishna in Vrindavan. So even in that form, Gopkumar could be elevated to Vaikuntha. So when they came to Vaikuntha, they told Gopkumar to wait for some time and they would report to the Lord that he came, to inform the Lord. And in the meantime, they asked Gopkumar to wait there. So Gopkumar when he was waiting, then he saw that one personality who looked just like the Supreme Personality of Godhead just came in his aeroplane, spiritual aeroplane, and when Gopkumar saw him, he thought that he was the Lord, so he started to offer prayers to him, saying, "O my Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, be merciful unto me." And that person covered his ears with his hands and said, No, I'm not the Lord, I'm not the Lord. Saying that, he just quickly went inside. Then Gopkumar saw another two persons come. They looked even more grand than the previous one. And they also rushed inside, embarrassed. And in this way Gopkumar, the point is, in Vaikuntha Loka, everyone had the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sarupya form. Did I discuss this in the previous day? I did discuss briefly. Anyway, so then Gopkumar waited. So the residents of Vrindavan, residents of Vaikuntha, Vishnu Dutas, then came and took him to the Lord. And then Gopkumar saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was so pleased to see him. And then the Lord actually embraced him and told him, "My dear, for so many lifetimes you have been away from me, and I have been waiting for you to return. And I am so happy that you came back." So in this way, the Lord greeted Gopkumar and embraced him, and everyone was very happy to see him. Then one very nice thing happened, like seeing the flute in Gopkumar's hand. Vaikuntapati, he started to cry. He kept looking at the flute, then he became completely absent-minded and he started to cry. So this is an indication that Krishna in Vaikuntha, he actually is hankering for Vrindavan. Krishna in Vrindavan pastimes as a cowherd boy, where he plays with his cowherd boyfriends and the gopis playing his flute, reminded him of his extraordinary relationship with them, the devotees. And one point becomes very clear in this Brihad Bhagavatamrita, that just as the Lord, just as a living entity is eager to go back to the spiritual sky, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord also is eager to get them back, get the devotee back. It's not that the devotee wants to go back to Krishna. Krishna wants his devotees to come back to him. And Krishna waits for a devotee to come back. And when a devotee goes back to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he becomes so pleased. And the Lord makes all kinds of arrangements to take the living entities back to the spiritual sky. Therefore, he made the arrangements of the Vaishnavas to come to the planet, come to earth planet, come to the material nature. He makes arrangements for a living entity to come in contact with the spiritual master. And it is by the mercy of the spiritual master one receives devotion. Jai Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai. Krishna makes all kinds of arrangements for a living entity to come back to him. But the only thing is, Krishna wants the living entity to come back, but the living entity has to make the first step. Because the arrangement is the living entities are allowed to stay in the material nature to fulfill their desires. So they are in the material nature because they wanted to enjoy without Krishna. Now, in order to go back to the spiritual sky, one has to desire to go back there. Get out of this material nature. At least that desire is the first consideration. And that is the cause of his good fortune. Kono bhagyoban jeev, brahmando bhramite, kono bhagyoban jeev, Guru Krishna prasade pai, bhakti lata bij. Many intricate details have been also discussed in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. It has been pointed out that bhakti is not there with the living entity. A living entity has to acquire bhakti. And this bhakti, acquiring of the bhakti begins with this Guru Krishna prasade. Guru Krishna prasade pai, bhakti lata bij. It was not there in him, but he found him, he got it. And now the consideration is how he is going to cultivate this bhakti. So this cultivation of bhakti will actually take him back to the spiritual sky. And this bhakti is the vritti of Hladini Shakti. The bhakti is the manifestation of Krishna's pleasure potency. Therefore, bhakti is coming from originally bhakti is coming from Srimati Radharani. It's the Radharani's mercy. Then Gopkumar was elevated to Ayodhya. There he saw the worship of the Lord, the devotion to the Lord is even greater than Vaikuntha. The Ayodhya Vasis, headed by Hanuman, is serving the Lord in such a wonderful way. So he stayed there with Lord Ramchandra, receiving the mercy of Lord Ramchandra. But then Gopkumar came to Dwarka. Lord Ramchandra told him that even higher than this Ayodhya region is Dwarka. Beyond Vaikuntha is, this topmost part of the Vaikuntha is Dwarka. And when Gopkumar arrived in Dwarka, he saw these Jadava boys were playing there, and Gopkumar was very pleased to see them. They also were very pleased to see the Jadavas. So Gopkumar then, he started to offer his respect. But the residents of Dwarka embraced him with great love. And then they took him to the Sudharma assembly, where Gopkumar saw Krishna sitting there surrounded by the exalted Jadus like Ugrasen, Vasudev, Surasen, etc. And then we're seeing Gopkumar, Krishna actually, Vasudev, came to embrace him. He was so pleased to see Gopkumar. But Uddhava made Gopkumar to place his head on the feet of the Lord. So, in this way, although the Lord actually wants to offer his love, but the devotee's mood should be full of respect. Lord wants to offer embrace, but a devotee wants to offer obeisances. And in so and now seeing Gop Kumar, Krishna became absorbed in the mood of Vrindavan. And he started to express his emotion. Tears were flowing from his eyes. But then seeing the elders, Krishna controlled himself. And then Krishna took him to Gop Kumar to his palace personally. And he made him sit down and he served him prasad. He didn't eat. First he fed Gop Kumar. And after that feeding Gop Kumar, he had his, Krishna just took some food himself. And then, seeing Gop Kumar, his Vrindavan mood came back. So he made all the boys, his sons and others, sit down. And he made Balaram also sit down. And remembering the mood of the picnic in Vrindavan, he started to serve them himself. So in this way, Gop Kumar saw the beautiful exchange that Krishna offered to him, experienced the beautiful exchange with Krishna. And then after that, Uddhav told, please come to my house. So he took Gop Kumar to his house. And Gop Kumar accompanied him. So there also, the Jadavas asked him, why are you still maintaining your cowherd form, cowherd dress? Because Dwarka is so full of opulence, everything is so grand here. Like you can see, everyone is so opulent. So why are you dressed like a poor cowherd boy? Take all the... like, it is not befitting this atmosphere. Like, you can well imagine, like somebody went to a king's palace from a village, and he is staying with the king. Now how will he dress? Will he still dress like a villager? Naturally he would. So they were asking him, why are you still wearing this dress? Like, dress up in a proper way. But Gop Kumar did not have any inclination to change his dress. He just wanted to maintain his form, his identity as the cowherd boy. So this is how we can see that the living entity, the spirit soul, has its natural affinity. Krishna's mercy is there, but the original relationship that a living entity has, especially with Krishna in Vrindavan, he cannot give it up. Another thing is that the awareness of these Vrindavan pastimes of Krishna is so sweet that once a devotee gets to know about that, he doesn't want to compromise with anything else. Like, from this we can understand that when the devotees of ISKCON go back to the spiritual sky, even when they will go to Vaikuntha, Ayodhya, Dwarka, they will not want to stay there. Why? Because their relationship is with Krishna in Vrindavan. Or are you going to compromise? If that compromise is there, then we have to understand that there is some problem in the spiritual life. And doesn't it happen? We see compromise. Sometimes devotees get a little comfortable situation and they give up their devotional life. We see when many devotees, when they go to the West, Europe and America, they get their green card, they get a job, sometimes they get an American wife, and that is the end of their spiritual life. So that means what? They did not understand the value of devotional service. They're compromising. Oh, now I have reached the goal of my life. I have reached America. So that becomes, America becomes the destination, not Golok Vrindavan anymore. But a true devotee who has properly understood the glory of Vrindavan, that is the purpose of Brihad Bhagavatamrita. What is Brihad Bhagavatamrita teaching us? The glory of Vrindavan, the joy of Vrindavan, the wonderful experience of developing a relationship with Krishna in Vrindavan. And compared to that, everything becomes insignificant. Therefore, a devotee will not be satisfied. What to speak of going to America or going to a heavenly planet, going to Brahmaloka, even getting the position of Lord Brahma. What to speak of position of Lord Brahma? He won't even be satisfied being in Vaikuntha Loka. He will not be satisfied being in Ayodhya. He will not be satisfied being in Dwarka. Because his attachment is with Krishna in Vrindavan. So, try to understand this point very clearly. Yes, you may get a chance to go to America. Then what will you do? Get stuck in America. Now I have found the ultimate goal of my life. No. You may have to go to America, but why will you go to America? To enjoy the comforts of America? Luxury of America? No. To render devotional service, to preach there. You may have to go to heavenly planets. But why will you go there? To preach. You may go to Brahmaloka. You may even get the position of Brahma. Can you imagine? Becoming Brahma. Sometimes devotees become envious. Oh, why that devotee is the temple president? I can do a much better job. Or why does he have that position? Why not me? But compared to devotional service, all these are completely insignificant. With the mood of service, we accept the positions. Our business is not to become temple president, not to become a GBC, not to become a guru. Our main business is to become a devotee of Krishna. And all these will happen in course of time. It will happen. Sometimes we have to become temple president. Sometimes we have to become a GBC. When it happens, okay, fine, we'll do it. But not that the goal of life is to become a GBC or a guru and so forth. It happens, we notice, it is due to the lack of understanding of spiritual life. I recall one devotee who wanted to become a sannyasi. So, there was a lot of objection for him becoming a sannyasi. So he became so frustrated, he got married. Oh, you didn't give me sannyas? Okay, I'll get married. So this is not the goal of life. The goal of life is something much higher than that. The goal of life is to become a pure devotee of Krishna. And whatever happens, we take it on the course of our spiritual progress. Yes, we will take it on our stride. Sometimes Krishna may even say, go to hell. We'll say, fine, go to hell. But when you go to hell, our business is not to stay in hell. When you go to hell, what will you do? You preach. Sometimes Krishna may say, go to Bombay. Go to Bombay, preach. Go to Surat. Go to Surat, preach. So wherever we are, we simply render devotional service because that is the goal of life. We should not deviate from that. Everything else is secondary. Our goal is the main principle. Then Gop Kumar met Narad Muni in Dwarka, and he instructed him about the glory of Vrindavan. And he told about the wonderful pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan. What does Krishna do in Vrindavan? Krishna is stealing butter. And after stealing butter, Krishna is breaking the butter pots. Why the Supreme Personality of Godhead has to act like that? He is acting in that way because he is experiencing the joy of doing that and he is giving pleasure to his devotees. That is the only reason why Krishna is behaving like that. Like a little boy, he is having this loving exchange with his devotees. Like such wonderful Damodar Leela. Krishna stole butter. Then he broke the butter pots. Then Mother Jashoda came and found that the broken pots and butter and everything is scattered in the room. So she wanted to catch Krishna, and Krishna was running. Mother Jashoda caught him. Now, the Supreme Personality of Godhead behaving like that, it sounds so unusual. What to speak of Supreme Personality of Godhead, even we won't behave like that. In normal condition, when we grow up, do we behave like that? What to speak of? A big man, will he behave like that? A king, will he steal butter? Will his mother chase him? He will maintain his dignity. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is maintaining his dignity everywhere else. But in Vrindavan he is different, and that is the glory of Vrindavan. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is behaving like a little child. What kind of little child? A little cowherd boy. A child of not even a king. The child of a cowherd people. Cowherd man. Like even in Ujjain, around Ujjain we see some cowherd people. How do they live? They don't live in big houses. They live in small huts and they tend their cows. They don't look very sophisticated. They don't look very opulent. And so Krishna is actually playing like a cowherd boy. In that similar situation, in a village, living with the cowherd folks, and who are surrounding him, his greatest devotees. The most intimate devotees, and with them Krishna is having this loving exchange. Krishna is actually allowing them to have this loving exchange with him. Then Narad asked Uddhav also to tell the glory of Vrindavan to Gopkumar. Then Uddhav told him that, once Krishna sent me to Vrindavan. Jai Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai. Then Uddhav told him that he went to Vrindavan. Krishna sent him to Vrindavan to convey a message to the gopis. And the message was that do not feel bad, because I am there in your heart, I am there everywhere, I am as the super soul. You try to see me in everything and in everywhere. But then, by seeing how the gopis reacted, I could recognize how exalted their position is. I could recognize how deep their love for Krishna is. I used to be very proud before. I used to think that I am the greatest devotee of Krishna. And Uddhav is a very, very exalted personality. In Dwarka, Uddhav is the greatest devotee. In Dwarka, Uddhav is with Krishna all the time. Uddhav is Krishna's friend. Uddhav is Krishna's minister. Uddhav is dearest of the associates in Dwarka. And when Uddhav went to Vrindavan, he recognized that compared to the devotion and love of the gopis, his love was so insignificant. His love was so... He felt embarrassed. And experiencing the exalted position of the gopis, Uddhav wanted to become a speck of dust, get a speck of dust from their lotus feet. Asha maho charana renu, jusha mahusha. That all I desire is to get a speck of dust from the lotus feet of the gopis. And Vrindavane kimopi gulma taraushadhinam. In order to do that, I want to become a blade of grass, a shrub, or a bush, or a creeper in Vrindavan. Why? Because he realized the extremely exalted position of the residents of Vrindavan, especially the gopis. Then Narad told Gopkumar to go back to earthly Vrindavan. And from earthly Vrindavan, he was elevated to the Golok Vrindavan. He came back to the earthly Vrindavan and he started performing Sankirtan. And performing Sankirtan, he was elevated to Vrindavan. When he arrived in Vrindavan, it was in the afternoon. So now we can see the difference between Vaikuntha and Vrindavan. Vaikuntha, there is no day and night. Na tad bhashayate surja, na shashanka na pavaka. Vaikuntha, there is always light. There is no day, consideration of day and night. But in Vrindavan there is. So, Vrindavan is exactly like the earth planet. The residents of Vrindavan look like the residents of earth planet. The geography of Vrindavan, Golok Vrindavan, looks like the geography of earth planet, in the sense there are rivers, there are mountains, there are forests, and And the residents of Vrindavan behave just like human beings. And in this way, they have a wonderful loving exchange with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Gopkumar saw some ladies were picking flowers. So he asked them, "Can you please tell me where is the house of Nanda Maharaj?" They did not hear him. They just carried on picking flowers and singing the glory of Krishna. So in this way, whoever he met there, he found that they don't have, it looked like they are probably deaf. They don't hear. They are deaf. But Gopkumar recognized that somebody has stolen their heart. That's why they don't hear. Not that they are deaf, but somebody has stolen their mind. Therefore, the function of the mind has stopped for them. What does it mean? This means manmana bhava. The mind is so absorbed with Krishna, with the thoughts of Krishna, that their mind is not functioning through the sense organs. The sense organs function only when the mind is connected to it. Like, object may be in front of our eyes, but if the mind is not connected, do we see the object? Some sound may be there, but if the mind is not connected to the ears, do we hear the sound? So that means mind has to be connected to the senses in order to perceive things. Now, if the mind is somewhere else, then if the mind is absorbed with something else, then will the mind be able to come to the senses? No. So that is the perfected stage of existence. When the mind is completely absorbed in Krishna and there is no functioning of the senses. So that's why Gopkumar considered that their minds have been stolen by Krishna. Then finally, one elderly lady who was also incessantly shedding tears, singing about Krishna's glory, told her that there is the house of Nanda Maharaj. Now hearing that, Gopkumar went to the house and he found that everyone, he was looking for Krishna, but he couldn't find Krishna anywhere. And then, towards the evening, he saw that everyone is looking in certain direction. And then he saw in the horizon, the dust was flying. And then he heard the sound of the mooing of the cows. And then he saw that Krishna along with the cowherd boys are coming. So when Gopkumar saw Krishna, he ran to meet Krishna. And Krishna also ran to meet Gopkumar. And Krishna embraced Gopkumar. And then Krishna started to speak, "Oh my dear friend, where you been all this while? I've been missing you so much." And speaking like that, Krishna fainted, Gopkumar also fainted. Seeing this sight, the cowherd girls started to cry. And some said, maybe this is a demon sent by Kamsa to harm Krishna. See Krishna, what happened to Krishna? And everyone became very worried. Some of them started to cry. Some of them started to run and find out what actually happened. Then Balaram came running. And he was wondering what actually happened. Then seeing the cowherd boy, Gopkumar, Balaram understood what happened. So Balaram brought cowherd boy to the Gopkumar to his senses. And then he told him to place his arm around Krishna and embrace him. And and lift him up. And so Gopkumar did that. Then Krishna came back to his senses, external senses. And then everyone was relieved. Oh, finally, nothing dangerous happened to Krishna. So Krishna took Gopkumar. Krishna actually told Sudama, not about this new arrival and how happy he was to see him. And then, not Sudama, I'm sorry. Anyway, one of his intimate cowherd boyfriends. And then Krishna, so when they came to the house, Krishna's house, Nanda Maharaja's house, then Krishna went to, about to enter into the house. He stand on the balcony and he waved at everybody. So all the friends, they were so sad now that Krishna is going away from them. So they just stood there. Krishna also stood there. They couldn't move. Krishna also couldn't move. Like Krishna, Mother Jashoda was asking Krishna, come inside. But Krishna couldn't do that. He just stood there, and finally Krishna was taken inside. Then Mother Jashoda, and then some of the cowherd boys went back to their houses, and some of the cowherd boys didn't even go home. They just stayed there. They decided to sleep there under some tree, waiting for Krishna to come back again in the morning. And when they went inside, Krishna took his bath. The gopis bathed Krishna, and then they sat down to take prasad. Krishna made Gopkumar sit next to him, and they had some very beautiful exchanges. And Gopkumar was tasting, everything was tasting so divine, as if he never tasted anything like that before. Then Gopkumar saw that one girl was very intently looking at Krishna, watching Krishna taking the food from behind the door. And so Gopkumar noticed that Krishna took one bite of something, some food, some sweet actually. And Krishna made a face and said, "Oh, this is terrible." And then he noticed that this girl, when she became so upset, she became very sad. She looked very sad when Krishna reacted like that. And then Krishna gave that to Gopkumar and said that, "You take this." And so Gopkumar took a bite of that, and he found that that was the most delicious of all the food. So in this way, Krishna had his wonderful pastimes in Vrindavan, and then they took Krishna to the bed and made him lie in bed, and Mother Jashoda put him to sleep. And in this way, Gopkumar started to experience the most wonderful loving exchange of Krishna. And Gopkumar saw that there are different, one day he saw the Kaliya, the news came that Kaliya has attacked Krishna. And so they all ran to Jamuna, and they found that Krishna is in the coil of Kaliya. Seeing Krishna in that condition, they all fainted. And some even wanted to jump into the river to rescue Krishna. And then Balaram called out to Krishna, Krishna, it's enough. Look at the condition of all of them. So you stopped your play like this. Then Krishna came out of Kaliya's coil. And then Krishna went onto Kaliya's head. And he asked the gopis also to come. So he helped them, helped the gopis also to come onto the head of Kaliya. And there Krishna performed rasa dance on Kaliya's head. He danced with the gopis on Kaliya's head. And then when Krishna was chastising, in this way when Krishna was dancing, the Nagapatnis, Kaliya's wives, came. So Krishna took their dupattas and tied them all together, and a piece of cloth, tying them together. Then he put that on Kaliya's mouth, and he rode on Kaliya's hood like a horse, like as if, and he was directing Kaliya, go this way, go that way. And in this way, Gopkumar was having the Vrindavan pastimes with Krishna. Then Krishna saw the Keshi there in the stable of Krishna in Vrindavan. So Krishna took all his friends on Keshi's back and had a ride on Keshi's back. And so this way we could see Krishna performed, Gopkumar entered into Vrindavan in his original Sarup. Actually, in that spiritual sky, Vrindavan, his name was Sarup, not S-V-A, but S-A-R-U-P. Okay, I'll stop now. Does anybody have any question?
At the same time, the also explained that bhakti is already in the heart, it just is quickly sadhya overnight. At the same time, it has to take
Yeah. One's relationship is there in the heart, but it has to be awakened with bhakti. Right? Nitya siddhasya bhavasya, the bhav is there, not bhakti. Nitya siddhasya bhavasya, what is the word? Ridi vartate. That is about sadhana, but the point here is that bhakti itself is not there, but that has to be acquired. Just as they pointed out, that Guru Krishna prasade paye bhakti lata beech. So if bhakti lata was there, then where is the question of planting the seed? Now, how did the seed come? The seed came by Guru Krishna Prasad.
You said that we all have a relationship. We all have a Swarupa. Now, if someone is related to some other form other than Krishna, so but if such a person, is it that he cannot come to ISKCON? If he comes to ISKCON, then he will be attracted to Krishna.
So we have to understand that one can get promoted to Vrindavan. An example is Joy and Vijay. They were in Vaikuntha, but from Vaikuntha they got elevated to Vrindavan. So that can happen by Krishna's mercy. But otherwise, it is the Sarup is eternal. But here we can see by Krishna's mercy the Sarup can change also.
When we try to serve Krishna, if we feel that the result is not coming so much as expected, then there is a tendency to get frustrated. So, how do you face that situation?
Yeah, utsaha nishchayat dhaijat. Nishchayat and dhaijat. One must be patient. We shouldn't think, oh, why I'm not getting it. But we should rather think that for so many lifetimes we had been away from Krishna. And in this lifetime, somehow or other we got to know about Krishna. Millions and billions of lifetimes went without any awareness of Krishna. We had been trying to enjoy. But at least in this lifetime we got to know Krishna. So, the ultimate relationship, if it doesn't happen, if it is taking time, we should learn to be patient. Yeah.
You get more detailed for the second question of Krishna Prabhu. Suppose some jiva has got to Vaikuntha. So, and now when the person has got Vaikuntha, is it not a complete perfection of that jiva? Or if it is the perfection of the jiva who is situated in Vaikuntha, so whether the Swarup has to go last, the Swarup is just served there in the Shantaras in Vaikuntha. Is it the only constitutional position of the jiva?
Well, you see, these things we won't be able to understand theoretically. In different cases, they will be different. Some individuals, after even coming to Mahaprabhu Sankirtan movement, may aspire for Vaikuntha. But some jivas will recognize the supremacy of Vrindavan and go to Vrindavan. An example is Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami's brother, Anupam. Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami tried to make him understand the supremacy of Krishna's position. But he was a Ram Bhakta and he didn't want to give up his devotion to Ram. So Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami said, yeah, maintain your relationship with your Lord. So it will differ, Whereas someone who may be a resident of Vrindavan, but he may be elevated to Vaikuntha. Resident of Vaikuntha, but may be elevated to Vrindavan. But in order to do that, he'll have to come down to the earth planet, perform Sankirtan, and then go back.
Is Gokumar met with his spiritual master 3 times?
No, more, I think 5 times he met here.
So how you recognize his spiritual master? Because the physical appearance is changing, body is changing. So how is recognition and...
Yeah. No, the appearance of the spiritual master remained also the same in this case. And like whenever he met, he saw him in the same way, in the same mood, completely absorbed in Krishna's thoughts. Completely absorbed in devotion to Krishna.
One question from Suchitra. Why did Gokumar have to come back to earthly Vrindavan? Could he not go directly to Vrindavan from Dwarka?
No, that is the point. From Dwarka, one cannot go to Vrindavan. In order to go to Vrindavan, Golok Vrindavan, even from Dwarka one has to come back to the earth planet and perform Sankirtan. Actually, Sankirtan is the means to enter into Vaikuntha, Vrindavan. That's why he was instructed by Narad Muni. Otherwise, from Dwarka one may go to Vrindavan, but one cannot stay in Vrindavan. Like for example, Uddhav went, but he wanted to From Dwarka, he went to Vrindavan, but he actually wanted to become a blade of grass in Vrindavan. So the point is, even from Dwarka, one cannot go to Vrindavan. From Dwarka, one has to come back to the home of Vrindavan, Vrindavan on the earth planet, and by performing Sankirtan, he has to go to Vrindavan. Sankirtan is the means to go to Vrindavan. And that is why Sankirtan is so wonderful. And that's why it's the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that we got Sankirtan. Because by Sankirtan, by means of Sankirtan, we will go back to Vrindavan. What happened?
There was one comment that Maharaj this Kartik we planned to visit Dwarka with children, but by some arrangements we had to visit Vrindavan last week and we had to cancel Dwarka. I had a feeling as though Krishna wanted us to come to Vrindavan, so all changes took place.
What's that? I'll say it again.
It was Premamandiri Mataji. She was saying, Maharaj, this Kartik we planned to visit Dwarka with children, but by some arrangements we had to visit Vrindavan last week and we had to cancel Dwarka. I had a feeling as though Krishna wanted us to come to Vrindavan, so all changes took place.
Yes, Krishna has been very merciful to you. Hare Krishna. Yes.
When we hear the pastimes of Krishna, there is some us that do actually see these pastimes, or in fact, if we would have had, we would actually directly see these pastimes, and we would have been really attracted and enchanted with them. So,
You have been attracted to the pastime?
Krishna's pastimes, Vrindavan pastimes.
Yeah. You have been, first part, what did you say?
And just like when we hear these pastimes, we feel like, better if we could visualize and participate if possible. But somehow at present the stage we are feeling completely unqualified. So, but still we would feel that if we could actually participate in them, so how do we satisfy this desire to see and his pastimes?
That's why hearing is so important. You see, by hearing we get a glimpse of the spiritual sky. And that glimpse of the spiritual sky generates attraction to the spiritual sky. And this attraction will induce us to become more and more involved in spiritual activities. And this is how we become qualified to go to the spirituals. Okay, yes, last two questions.
Maharaj, you said that in Vaikuntha there is no day and night, and it is always illuminated. There is no day and night, and it is always illuminated. So does
In Vaikuntha. Yeah.
So does that mean that in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, when Lord Krishna is explaining Arjuna about his dham, he's talking about Vaikuntha and not Goloka?
Not Goloka. Yeah. Yeah, Krishna through Bhagavad Gita did not reveal Vrindavan. He actually revealed only Vaikuntha. Yes, Radharani?
Because my question is related to the awards that devotees get, like you're mentioning sometimes devotees go to America and get a green card and so on. So my question is that when one gets these material awards, if one turns the attitude of gratitude, that this is actually coming from Krishna, and regarding it as Krishna's property, and in turn offering more back to Krishna, does this protect our spiritual life?
You see, the thing is, if that facility, say, is used in Krishna's service, then it's all right. Then you are remembering Krishna. Right? But getting the facility, if you forget Krishna, that is not desirable. And that is the difference between You see, Maya and Krishna consciousness. Maya means getting the facility for getting Krishna. And Krishna consciousness is that even though they are whatever is coming, doing it.